Learning any foreign language takes time and regular effort. However, it's also true that how difficult it is to learn depends on what your native language is. This is because of the different degrees of difference between languages. No language is impossible to learn, but it's true that some languages take a lot more time to learn than others. How difficult is English for you? That depends. What's your native language? Hello, lovely English language learners. It's MORKSENSEI. Did you know that currently there are over 7,000 languages spoken in the world today? 7,139 last I checked. This number is always changing because we're learning more about the world's languages all the time. Despite the high number, only 23 languages are spoken by half of the entire world population. 2/3 of all languages are included in the top 6 language families. A language family is a group of languages that are descended or that come from the same ancestral language or parental language. An ancestral language is called a proto-language in historical linguistics. This tree model of the evolution of the Mayan language family tree is an example. The 6 largest language families by language count are Niger-Congo, Austronesian, Trans-New Guinea, Sino-Tibetan, Indo-European, and Afro-Asiatic. English is part of the Indo-European family. If your language is also from the Germanic language family, such as Dutch, German, or one of the Scandinavian languages, then you will have less difficulty learning English. And if your native language is not on part of the Indo-European family tree at all, but instead a whole different family tree, such as the Sino-Tibetan language family tree, then English is going to take a lot more effort for you because it's so different. Here in Japan, I'm often told by local people that learning English is very difficult. Judging by the small proportion of people who do speak it well, it would seem that they're right. The same is true for my case when learning Japanese. When I was much younger, I spent a year in Central America. After about only 6 months of studying Spanish, I was able to read a Spanish language newspaper, mostly. This is because the Romance languages are part of the main European branch of the Indo-European language family tree, and because I already had a solid understanding of French before I started learning Spanish. However, this was not my experience learning Japanese. After 6 years studying Japanese, I was still barely able to read a children's book. Does it take so long for English and Japanese speakers to learn each other's languages because they're difficult? No, I think most languages are each challenging in their own way. However, the reason one language may feel more difficult and definitely take more time to learn is simply because they have very little in common. They're so different from one another. Not only are the languages different, but the cultures they belong to can be very different as well. For example, many cultures worldwide have different social levels or hierarchies in society. When we talk to certain people in society, such as leaders or the elderly, we use more polite and formal language than when we talk with our friends and family. Traditional Japanese culture is very hierarchical and shows degrees of politeness by using different levels of language, something called keigo in Japanese. To people from very different cultures, this can seem like a second, completely different Japanese. It's challenging because the very idea of keigo may not exist in their native language. Many words in the English language developed from Latin and ancient Greek words. For example, the word restaurant comes from the Latin restaurare, which means renew. Restaurant in French is restaurant. In Italian, it's ristorante, and in German, it's Restaurant. The spelling and pronunciation are a little different, but you can see how similar they are, right? Well, in Japanese, there is a word, restauran, which sounds similar, but that's because it's a loan word. It's borrowed from English because the word did not originally exist in Japanese. Original Japanese words for places to eat out include examples like izakaya or sushiya or udonya, which are more specialized in what they offer. Everything about these words is very different for people who speak European languages. The words refer to specific Japanese cuisine with which many people may not be familiar. So, how long will it take you to learn English based on your native tongue? A couple of years ago, I made a video about the time it takes to learn English, and there are so many factors involved, I couldn't give an exact answer. You might be interested to know that the Foreign Service Institute in the United States has created a list to show the approximate time you need to learn a specific language as a native English speaker. Category 1 languages are similar to English and take the least amount of time. Category 2 and 3 include a few languages which take a little more time. Category 4 is the biggest group of languages and a little difficult, and Category 5 are the most different and take the most amount of time to learn. If you identified your own native language in the list, then you'll have a good estimate about how different English is from your language and how much time it might take you to learn it. Learning a new language is going to be hard work, no matter what language it is, but I'm afraid it's true. If the language or languages you already know are very different from English, it'll take more time to learn. The good news is that it's not impossible, and it will be well worth it because English is the most widely used language in the world. And if you learn English, you'll have an easier time learning similar languages too. All right, that's it for today. See you in my next video. MORKSENSEI signing out. Mwah.